Hey, and welcome to Anne's Norwegian Knitting, conversations where knitting meets culture, heart, and history. I'm Anne, and in this podcast, we're going to slow down stitch by stitch to explore the stories, the traditions, and joys that live in our knitting. Sometimes it's going to be just me, other times, you will meet Steph, and other times again, I will be joined by friends, colleagues, or special guests. But always, always, always with yarn in hand and curiosity at heart. Thanks for being here. Let's dive into the next episode. Okay, here we are. Another podcast.
Hi, everybody.
It's all, as always, Anne and Steph. And today we are going to go down a road of a lot of culture and history.
Tradition.
Tradition.
Yeah.
Tradition, that's a good word. Yeah, tradition. Not so much knitting, but there's going to be we're going to touch on it. But a lot of tradition. We are going to talk about bunad. How would you say that?
Bunad.
Bunad. Bunad, which is our national costume. Some people might think that we look a bit funny in those, but we are proud of our bunads and we wear them with dignity and joy.
And everybody gets them.
Yeah,
Not gets them, but they have to be made.
It's everybody. It's not everybody, but it is. There are people, I don't know. I have no idea what the percentage is. There are people that don't have it. I didn't get mine until I was grown up, an adult, and that was because normally what we do is that where I grew up, in my circles, we were offered by our parents to get our bunad for the confirmation present, because this national costume is not $100 at Walmart. It's an investment. Yeah. And we're going to get back to all that. And then most people don't have a say in that, but I was quite adamant and I told my parents I didn't want one.
You didn't want one. Why?
I just didn't want one. Did I regret that?
I hope so. Yes. Because you have one now.
Yeah, it took a couple of years, but then I started thinking, seriously, Anne, what have you been thinking? When are you ever going to be able to get your own bunad? Because this costs money. So I had to grow up, become an adult so what I did was that I actually paid my own, but my mom's did the sewing. I paid all the material and my mom did all the sewing. And I was so happy.
And the materials in these are very specific.
Yeah.
Like you said, you don't just go to Walmart. You go to a Husfliden or a special bunad store.
Yeah.
And you get special material.
Yeah. It's a very special material. You have to get... There is this movement. We have this thing in Norway where we talk about, they are called the bunad police, because there are a whole lot of rules connected to this bunad thing about what you're allowed to do and not allowed to do. I'm not a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of being aware of what you're allowed to do and not allowed to do in a way, because that is history and tradition and proof of what has been. But that doesn't mean... I'm a fan of actually adapting it so that it's fitting into the century and the year that we're actually living in, right? When people say that you are, for example, not allowed, you're not supposed to... Some people say that you're not supposed to wear your hair loose when you wear a bunad. You're supposed to have it braided or some sort of put it up. Other people say that you are not allowed to wear a certain... You're only allowed to wear a certain type of shoes to your bunad. And it's okay, if I go to the parade, because on May 17th that's when everyone uses it, and you go through a parade which is like 5K long with kids, and you stand and wait because the parades are not... Wear your trainers, for goodness sake. But there are certain people that are saying that you shouldn't do that. You should only wear those shoes. So there are all these kind of particular rules about it. But there are some of those rules that I quite agree with, and that is that you're supposed to have relatives or ancestry from that area where you decide to get your bunad. I totally get that.
We should say that bunads aren't just one for the whole country.
No, there are many of them, and we're going to show you. There are all the areas have their own. And
There are
I
450 accredited.
how many?
450 that are recognized in Norway.
Yeah.
And then there are the ones that are unrecognized. But go ahead. 450 are official.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the thing. So what has been, there are some of them are more in fashion than others because they become a symbol of wealth and upper class kind of thing. And that's, so people are buying that one even though they have no roots going there. To me, that is a bit ridiculous because if you are born in Norway and have roots, why don't you go and look for some of your actual roots and find a bunad that comes, you have family that comes from there. Having said that, I don't mind if people don't do it, but then you have all these people coming in that don't have family roots in Norway. They are making a new life in Norway. And then there are these people saying that they are not allowed to wear bunad because they're not proper Norwegians. That's when I stop it.
Do you know that? So to make a bunad here in the United States, you have to take a class. Bunads are not an easy thing to make. And there's not very many people accredited by the Sweden in Norway to do it. But there are some bunads that you can't even make here because they don't allow people from the United States to buy the materials and learn how to do it.
Which is another one of those. They are really strict about who's allowed to do it, and you're not allowed to do the embroidered ones without doing a course. You have to do a course to learn how to do the embroidery because there are bunads. You will see later, my bunad has no embroidery on it. I don't think yours have any either, only on the pocket, right?
Nope, the Marie on.
Yeah.
I say that right. That one has embroidery on the vest and the skirt.
Yeah, okay. But the Trøndelag bunad, the other one that you have is
just on the pocket. Only on the pocket is embroidery.
That varies. So yes, so there are some really strict rules to that. But also what has happened, because they have become so expensive, and it creates this division between the people that can afford it and those who can't. So it's becoming more and more common to make, they call them fantasy bunads. So they use all the principles behind the bunad, but they use ordinary fabrics and they create beautiful costumes that look like a bunad, but in the modern sense and with modern fabrics. And I like that. That's if that's your thing, do it. Because I think it's building on tradition. They are honoring the tradition in a modern way. But again, you have those people that will disagree with me on this, that you have this, that then it's not a bunad. And then I'm thinking, okay, but what is a bunad? For goodness sake, it's like my bunad used to be both an everyday clothing and a festive clothing.
Yeah. We should say, so you guys have bunads, but you also wear them more than set into Maya. Like you wear them for your confirmation, but if you're going to watch somebody being confirmed, you'd wear it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Weddings the same way.
Yeah, weddings, sometimes Christmas Eve is a good day if you're, because we don't do the PJ Christmas. We dress up on Christmas Eve and have family dinners and are all dressed up. And then we do the presents in the evening on the 24th. And we are all dressed up. That is a dressed up day. And that could be, we've had Christmases in my family when we have agreed that, okay, let's wear our bunads this Christmas. Yeah. And also weddings and christenings and big occasions. It is a piece of It's like a designer dress, really, where you take really a high-end designer dress that you take really care of. You take it to the dry cleaners, you don't wash it yourself, you put it in a bag, you hang it nicely so that it's not being chewed upon by mice or other creatures that live in our nature that comes inside. So it's a piece of, and it's also passed down for generations. Yeah. Yeah, totally. So that's what we want to talk about today.
So let's talk about when they started, how the actual bunads started. They're based on clothing, like you talked about, from rural life in Norway.
Hmm.
But in 1905, Norway split from Sweden.
Yeah, we did. Is this when I'm gonna do that little short history lesson that we talked about?
Yeah, do it.
It's because the thing is, Norway is, we have a few centuries where the Swedes and the Danes decided that they wanted to rule over Norway. I really don't understand how that could happen. Looking back in retrospect, it's like, why would anyone let the Swedes and the Danes take over? But that's another story. So we were under Danish rule for quite a few years, and the Danes decided during the Napoleon War, they decided to side with Napoleon. And then when Napoleon lost, then they decided that, okay, Sweden was not on Napoleon's side. So then they all decided that, okay, let's give Norway to Sweden. This is a really short and probably imprecise history lesson, but I'm just giving you the gist of it, right? As a reward for not siding with Napoleon, who lost. So then we became Swedish. And then Norwegians have never been Swedish. They've been in the Swedish rule. We've never been Swedish, but that's not. But anyway, if you know about Norwegians and Swedes, you know that is not happening. And they would say the same, but they have never been under Norwegian rule, unfortunately. So I'm digressing here. Anyway, in 1814, there was people that really wanted to break free from this union stuff. And in 1814, there were a group of men, including Henrik Wergeland, which is a famous author from back then, nationalistic author. And they went to Eidsvoll, which is a small town out of Oslo, going north towards Gudbrandsdalen, towards Lillehammer, on the way up there. And they signed our constitution, the Norwegian constitution. They made and signed a Norwegian constitution during how long they stayed, I don't know. And there were people from all over Norway invited to go there to decide. What happened was that people that were the furthest away and in the smallest of valleys and the longest, highest mountains never got the message that they were to be there. So they came a bit late. But there was, anyway, the Norwegian constitution, like the Magna Carta or your constitution, but ours is from 1814. Still under Swedish rule. They started to do parades to celebrate that, and those with kids, children parades on the 17th of May, but only boys in the beginning. Because as I told you earlier, girls can't be trusted in parades. So there you go. It was 1814, so let's give them a bit of slack. Anyway, so then they kept doing that without really getting a full force on it. But then in 1905, what happened was that we actually did have a referendum where we voted, do we want our own king or don't we? Do we want to go and become a republic or do we want to get our own king? Because we Norwegians now decided now is the time. We've had enough of this. We want our own thing. And in that referendum, it was decided that we wanted a kingdom, not a president. And then we apparently talked to the Swedes. The Swedes weren't too happy about that. They didn't want to give us a prince to become the Norwegian king. So then we went to Denmark, and we said, hey, we want a king. Do you have a prince to give us? And they did. Prince Carl came to Norway,
And Sweden just gave you guys up? just said, okay, you're on your own? How does that work?
There's a bit more to the story, but yeah. And then Prince Carl came to Norway, and he was Danish, and he took the Norwegian name Prince, so he became King Haakon. Haakon is a very Norwegian name, and so he came King Haakon the Seventh. So there has been 6 King Haakons before, so we have had a few kings. And he brought with him his wife, obviously, and they had one son, and his name was something else. Maybe it was I can't remember it. I think maybe his name was Alexander or something. I'm not quite sure. I can't remember. But he's Olav, and that was King Olav the Fifth that we had, that took over after King Haakon. And King Haakon took the motto, everything, all for Norway. That was his motto. So the Nazis came in 1940 and said that we should surrender. He said, no way, that's not happening. I promised to fight for Norway, and I'm going to do that. And he realized he couldn't do it in Norway. So he escaped to the UK and with a government, and they had an exile government over there without any power, but they were working over there to be able to come back when the Germans were defeated. So there we go. So but after he came around, the 17th of May become even stronger and more of symbolic value to us. So the celebrations started growing, and after the Second World War, they probably took off because having been occupied by the Nazis for 5 years and then being banned from wearing our own flags and singing our own songs, simple things, but then going back and being able to be us again and do all that stuff, that I think that creates a boost of nationalism, doesn't it? And
It really does.
yeah. And 17th of May is the ultimate it's a national day, and it's nationalism hopefully at its best. It hasn't, for some people it probably has, but for most of it has a positive vibe to it, and we are celebrating democracy and freedom.
So it's like our 4th of July, but our 4th of July, people go to the lake and have barbecues and stuff like that. You guys really celebrate being a country.
Yeah, we do.
And your traditions. Yeah.
The kids go in the parades, and the kids go in the parades. All the kids go in the parade, go in parade. All the grown-ups stands along the parade, all dressed up with their flags, waving. Hooray, yeah.
Literally, hooray, hooray. Like you guys literally yell.
That's literally, yeah, it is. That's what we actually do.
So Norwegians have always been into handcraft, tradition. And when I say always, even back to the Viking times, you can trace some of the Viking handcraft methods to those rural farm life that we were talking about in the 1700s, 1800s, some even now. It was really a way of life. And in Norway, you guys really carry that down and honor it. So there are 2 ladies, Hulda Garborg. Say that the right way?
Yes, Hulda Garborg. Yes.
And Clara Sim. And she has a B at the end of her name, but
yeah, but it's silent. So Clara Sim. Yeah.
So those 2 ladies recognize that there's a change going on. Clothing is changing, traditions are changing, and they wanted to preserve the clothing of the rural Norwegian areas. And they did it by region. So what they did is they collected clothing out of trunks. In Norway, you guys, when you're done with clothing, you guys would stick it in like windows and barns and places to use it as like insulation. When you're done with wool's great insulation. So they took those bits and studied them. And they also looked at art, like paintings, drawings, things like that. Clothing that had been stuffed away in trunks. They studied all these, documented, and then came up with regional bunads. So that's how the bunads came on. That's, yeah, basically. So talking a little bit, the color palettes for different bunads are based sometimes on local plants or flowers that grew there, colors of the area. So that's how you'll get colors for the bunads. There'll be embroidery motifs on a lot of bunads. Not all of them, but some. They can be based on flowers that grow in that region. We're going to talk about one of mine is based on a rose mauling piece, which you call rose painting, I think. But
Yeah, but that's when I talk to you guys because it's the Norwegian word is obviously rosmaling.
oh, okay.
Yeah, it's maling means painting.
Oh, rose painting. Oh, okay. Yeah, we call it rose mauling. I don't know.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. But you know about it. People that are listening to this and don't know about rosmaling, they would have no idea. So that's why I say rose painting because that gives people okay. Then they understand it's painting.
yeah. And it's even that is done by region.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
different.
yes.
And I guess maybe we should say how Norway is not huge, but you have different regions. And the regions, are they more like our states?
No.
Counties?
No. No, they're not really. It's more like Norway is really narrow, but it's long. And
It's shaped like a spoon.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And that spoon goes from Seattle to San Diego if you move it. So it's as long as the US, but it's not obviously not as wide. But and it used to be split into 20, I think we call it counties. So there is local administration, but it's not even close to the federal and the state administration that you have. The division between state and central is not even close to it. It's not comparable at all. It's more, I would just say that one state in the US or one province in Canada, for example, I would assume that they have smaller units within it that might be bigger than cities, but smaller than the whole thing. I don't know. But that's what we are. So there is local administration, both on city level and town level, but also on the county level. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
basic. Yeah.
So that's how it's broken up.
Mm.
So I researched some of my family.
Yeah.
And so we're going to go on my grandpa's mom's side, lived in the Trøndelag region.
Mm.
And so I made my first bunad. And I'm just going to hold up the vest. But Anne, you have pictures.
Yeah, I'm going to find them.
My vest. You can start with that one. When you're finding the picture, the Trøndelag region has 3 bunads, but they all look alike. It's just they are different colors. So that is my vest part that I made. There's also a blue skirt. There's the whole thing, not me in it, but the whole thing. So the blue one is for people who live by the water. And my family did live on the fjord right by the water. There is a green one, so the vest changes to a green and the skirt changes to a green. That's for people more inland. And then there's a yellow and black one that came later. And you can see her in her shoe, there's red showing. So there's red piping. You guys saw there's red piping around the vest. And then the hose that you wear are also red. So you wear red hose.
Very many, a lot of actually, I'm not quite sure, I might be quoting, but a lot of the bunads wear red stocking.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, that's another thing. The stocking, the color of the stockings, that's really important, apparently. But it's become more and more common to use black. But they do say that I grew up hearing that the stockings should be red to your bunad. Might just be because our bunads in our family required reds. I don't know, but I think that's not, red stockings is very common.
Yeah. Here's my shoes. I even have the shoes to go with it. And the shoes are official shoes. Like you don't just buy
Yeah.
shoes off the street.
Yeah.
Where's the shoes?
Should I find mine?
Yeah.
Got mine. And they're all, but they're not used that often. But the thing is, I think mine is, are mine the same as yours?
Oh, they are. No, my buckle's a little different, but yes.
Yeah, the buckle is slightly different. Yeah. But these, I tell you, these are the best shoes ever to walk in. I've been walking a few 17th of May with these, and then on 17th of May, you do your 10,000 steps times 2 at least. And I've been walking in this, and without getting any burn under the sole, anything that you would get with a high-heeled shoe, these are awesome. Absolutely awesome. They are. So there you go. Yeah. And then you put them in, you treat them well, and you put them back in the...
I keep mine in the box. So you can see I put the paper back in to keep them shaped perfectly.
Yeah. Cool.
And then the solia, or the silver, is also very specific to each bunad.
Yeah.
So the one for the Trondelag has a wheel kind of shape, and there's one up here. There's one on the vest. There's special ones for your cuff.
Let me see, because I think yours, here you see yours.
Yes.
Yeah. So you have, because and that's cool. I'm going to show you mine later. And I have one with the crown, as I live with a crown as well, which I have inherited from my grandmother. And I have a small one, but a smaller one like this, one that I had when I was a kid. And I use my small one up there on mine. And then I use the crown one, because I think my crown one is a bit bigger than yours. I use that one down here. Yeah. But I'm going to show you pictures of mine in a few minutes. And the
shirt that mine is on is all I sewed by hand. Every stitch of that is sewed by hand. The vest has some hand sewing and some machine sewing. And there's you had to reproduce the whale rib. That they used to use whale bones in the bodice. So now you do this special technique with linen behind it to make it stiff to look like whale bones on the inside. All of that piping is done by hand. It's crazy. And you can see that the motifs, like in knitting, absolutely match up.
Yeah, that was, I was about to say it. Yeah, your rose is scented.
I centered the rose.
That's, yeah.
I do have those clasp things. I should have those on my bunad. I guess I don't. I'll have to put it on.
Yeah. Because they are sewn on, aren't they?
They are sewn on. So you have eyelets on the inside, like I have eyelets there, and then you
because
put
I can see you have got eyelets there, so you should sew them on top of it, right?
Yep. And I've got those. I should get those sewn on.
Yeah, you should. You definitely should.
And here's I did bring my pocket. We showed this in the pocket one, but there's my pocket that I embroidered.
That's so nice. So that's the only embroidery on your Trondelag bunad.
That's the only one. Leather back, just like they had it. Well, yep. I did that embroidery.
Nice.
Down. So you want to talk about yours, and then I'll talk about my other ones.
So mine is from Gudbrandsdalen, and that is the valley that goes from Lillehammer and up north towards Trondelag, where yours come from. I'm going to stop screen there, and then I'm gonna add share screen, and then window, and this one share. I'm just showing you some the photos, but this is me and my sister, and we have as you see, the bodice is the same, but we have different skirts. You see it. Mine is darker with some, hers is redder in a way, and my mom's third one. But ours, we can also have different colors on the bodice on this one.
Look at how those seams matched up. Oof.
Yeah. That's and my mom made all these. She's awesome. She's also made, this is my brother-in-law, and she made this one as well.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, and this is, and she made all these, and she made all one for my nephew. He turned out he couldn't use it because he's allergic to wool. We didn't know. Yes, he threw up when he got it on Portugal. So, and she also made one for my other sister. No, my other sister inherited my mom's old one, and then my mom made a new one for herself. But she has made a few of these over the years because we've had them when we were small as well. And then, yeah, when we were kids, and then we grew out of it and went into the next one. So yeah, here, but every time she did it, it was this seam here was like, that was, she was swearing. She never swears.
you'd have to be. That is incredible. She matched that
Yeah.
perfection.
But she never swears, I tell you. But this, yeah.
Then she
So
did.
then,
Who's
yeah,
the lady way to the right?
that's my another brother-in-law's mother. Yeah.
She's got a woven band at her waist. That's
Yeah,
an
she
interesting one
has.
too.
I think,
Oh, and going up the
and up there.
up the bodice. Interesting. And her solia goes across.
Yeah.
That's silver going across her.
Yeah. Let me see
Interesting.
if my sister has that one now. Okay. Here you see mine. I wear my smallest one here to close
Mhm.
it up here. And on this day, it was really hot. And you can see that in the face of the woman inside. And then I use this one a bit further down. This is late in the day, this one. So in this picture, I remember I was really tired and exhausted. I just want to show you something else because, yeah,
Let's look at that. Oh,
in the church with all the three vests there. Yeah, which one do you think about?
go back to where you're hot, because you can see your solia really well. So
Yeah.
those are pieces that hang down from your jewelry. They don't connect to your vest. They hang down. Oh, there's your crown. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And this one is the one that we got when we were kids. We all got a small one each. So that's actually a kid one, but it's perfect to have in the neck, to close the neck. Because the shirts, and we call these shirts, not blouses. These are shirts. Bunad skjorte. Skjorte is shirt and bluse is blouse. So this is skjorte, shirt. They don't have buttons. You use silver to close it.
Yes.
Yeah, or silver buttons to close it, right?
And in the one at the top, the round things that you see in there are called dishes.
Yeah. So we had this during the retreat this year. We had a silversmith coming in during our virtual retreat in end of February, beginning of March. We had a silversmith coming in, and he was awesome, wasn't he?
He was really good. Yeah.
He talked about all this bunad silver, and yeah, this is a dish brooch or sølje. Sølje is a Norwegian word, and this was a heart or a crown brooch.
And you can see all the filigree in that one. And the
Yeah.
things hanging down is a bunch of
Yeah, you can see
filigree.
it. They are a bit messed up at the moment on the picture, but yeah, you can see them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if anybody's doing the eternity shawl, you can see where that
Yeah.
came from.
Yeah, because and that's what the one we talked about that in the previous, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's Viking jewelry that has that filigree in it.
Yeah.
It's any traditions really carry down.
Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
there's filigree in some of the Viking jewelry.
I love that. I really love that. I was just thinking because there is another. Yeah, this one. I need to show you this. This is my niece's confirmation. So this is my mom's old one that my sister inherited. She has now bought another one, so she has a second, but that she uses more than this one really. And then this is my mom, and as you can see, she has a slightly different color on the bodice than I have.
Yeah.
And she also, you see the skirt there, she's got the same skirt as my other sisters.
Mm.
It's the more blacker one. And this is then me, and then here is my other sister. And then there's another niece, and this is this one was made for us when we were small.
So this is down. Yeah.
Yeah, this one is standard. And this is the confirmation. Norwegian girl, and she has another one underneath. She comes from right outside of Drammen, and this is a place called Lier. And in Lier, they are famous for their apple trees. So they had their bunad is full of apple blossoms.
Nice. That's a
Yeah,
lot
and
of
that
embroidery on the bottom of that.
yeah, there's a lot of embroidery on this one. I'm gonna show you on this. I'm gonna show you because you have it here. Here you got, here you got the three of us. Wait,
Look at all that embroidery in the vest, in the skirt.
yeah.
Wow.
There you have the two. I have embroidery on my apron. My sister has the weaved apron, but this one, and there, apart from that, there's no embroidery on ours, but she has embroidery all the way. So, and up on the skirt as well.
Yeah, that's a lot of embroidery.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Do we see clearer there? We did have fun. It was windy that day.
And hers has a pocket.
She has a pocket. And as you can see, none of us have pockets, and this one doesn't have a pocket, but I want to make one. I'm going to make a knitted one to match in charcoal and green to match my skirt. Here you see my skirt better.
Yeah.
And there you see sister. These are called, this bunad is called rondastakk. And ronda means stripe. It's from north in the Gudbrandsdalen. And ronda means stripes, so that's where they're taking that name from. And this Sinclair pattern here, yes, it looks Scottish and it is Scottish. Apparently what happened was that during the Napoleon War, I might be wrong about this, but I know it was around that time, and it has to do with Napoleon, I think. There were Scots coming from Scotland and going to Sweden to help the Swedes against the Norwegians or something. The story is a bit, I can't really remember. But anyway, they got stranded up in in Gudbrandsdalen, where this bunad is from. So there is this Scottish little enclave, this Scottish little enclave up north in Gudbrandsdalen. The people around there, they encompassed it and embraced it, and they like, let's do this. So there we go.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah. So should I show the other confirmation picture as well, just to show?
Yes.
This is like May 17th. You don't see it that well because the parade is done. But we eat ice cream on that day, and we dress up and we wear our shawls. My mom, the shawl, I'm going to show you my mom's shawl later. You see lots of people here. Everyone is in town.
Oh, lots of people.
Yeah, and this is like
way to the left, and that has a belt in your picture.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah.
This one is up the valley. This one is I have a friend who has this one as well. This is a really pretty one, and this is pearls. It's beading.
Yes. Beaded work.
Yeah.
Yes. That's called a breastplate. All of that beaded work is a breastplate. That's the bunad. Not the hardanger. Yeah, the hardanger. Look at the bottom of her skirt as hardanger on it.
Yeah, is this hardanger? It might be. I don't know. Yeah, because it has hardanger, the seam down here. Yes, absolutely.
And that belt that she's wearing is a woven belt.
Yeah, beautiful.
Oh, it is beautiful.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
Those breastplates, let me tell you, that beading takes a long time. None of their pieces are made like in a weekend.
No, I'm fairly sure they do actually. They tend to be. But where is that other one I wanted to show you? Because I don't have a family picture from my nieces. My nieces, but I have a family picture from my friend's son's confirmation. I'm at the back there, but look at I think of everyone that was at that confirmation, 2 of the ladies didn't have a bunad. The rest had bunads on. Just to show you.
They're stunning. You can see the hardanger on the bottom of that. Is that the same lady?
This one is definitely hardanger. Oh, in that case, the other one was as well, because it's the same. Yeah, totally. But look at this one as well. Okay, this one, I shouldn't be this. I shouldn't try not to show.
Look at all the embroidery on that.
Yeah, on this one. This is a Telemark, one of the 2 from Telemark. Beautiful. I don't want to spend too much time on that because there are people on there that don't know that they're there. It's showing them off. But yeah, totally. And when you talked about, I'm just going to show you this because I've done this today on purpose, because normally what you are supposed to do is to put your hair in plaits and put it up when you do when you wear your, some people say that you always. And another thing that you're not supposed to do is wear sunglasses with your,
Oh, really?
yeah. But anyway, I have this thing here. It's a hairband, and it's made by my mom, tablet, on a tablet weave, and I put it on just to show you. And I want to make my own. I really want to make my own. So I need to, my mom knows how to make this, and she needs to teach me.
Yeah. So you can see it's woven with wool, and it's
Yeah.
got fringe at the end.
And it's not, it's loose, that fringe. And this one was weaved like 60, 70 years ago. And
And
it's
it's
been used a lot, and it's not unraveling. It stays because it's 100% wool, and then it melts and it stays.
great.
Yeah. It's cool.
I've
isn't
seen
it?
pictures too where people use that as one of the braids. So like they'll braid
Yeah.
their hair.
Yeah. So then you also can put it into, you braid it into your braid kind of thing. Yeah. Totally. Absolutely. So I want one of those. Yeah. And then you have this one here that my mom made, which is the shawl that we have for our bunads. And it's crocheted here, and it's knit here, and it's huge. It takes forever. My mom has made 4 of them, and she promised that she's never, ever going to knit anything in black ever again. Anyway, but really,
So is that a shawl that's supposed to go with the bunad? Or did your mom make up that pattern?
no, that pattern is made up. It's made from Rauma. It's a
Mm.
Rauma pattern that is made to a universal one that is made so that you can make it for your bunad if you don't want to use a cape.
Cool. Yeah, that's very cool.
So,
Your mom's done a lot of work. I can't even tell. It's hundreds and hundreds of hours that your mom has put into making all those bunads
yes,
and
it
the
is.
accessories. And
Yes, it is. But and that's the same as we talk about when, and I believe so strongly, is with the knitting. It's, you do it out of love, and we are creating pieces that will be passed down.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely heirloom pieces.
Yeah. I don't have kids, unfortunately, but I'm going to make sure that my pieces are passed down to someone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm buried in mine. I've spent so much time making.
Yeah, that's not the bad.
All right. I've made another one from my grandma's father's side. So my last one was my grandpa's mother's side. This one is my grandma's father's side. And it is awesome. It's the Marie On. And I'm going to talk to you about. So this came later, that one. So that's the full thing. I didn't bring any full bunads today. But the embroidery on it is based on an entryway going into a house in that region. So it's the rose painting, the rose mauling. Around the entryway of a house is what the embroidery is based on for that one. You can see there's a ton of embroidery. The whole back of the vest is also all embroidered. I do have the pocket width, but you can see it right there in the picture. And I do have all the solia for that one too. There's a ton of work in that one. So this bunad came about after we talked about those 2 ladies who are preserving the history. This one came later. So in the 1940s, there was a contest for that region to come up with a new bunad because they didn't like what they had before, apparently. They had a contest to come up with a new one. And a lady named Marie On won the contest. And she, like I said, based it off of the rose mulling. So that's how that one came about.
It's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
I'm really impressed by those embroideries.
Yeah, it's crazy embroidery. Let me tell you, it is crazy embroidery.
Okay,
It
let's
took me
let's
days
I'm
just
gonna
to do around the bottom of the skirt.
Yeah, shove it again. Yeah, there you go. Oh, it's beautiful.
It is. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it
It's
is. It really is.
And to
Yeah,
do it on black, I do it with a magnifier with a light.
yeah. You have to. Seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you get these, there's a white paint on the
Mm,
black.
mm.
So the outline is painted on, and then there's a color chart that comes with it, and you put the colors where they tell you to put the colors. But your embroidery has to be on this one. There's some embroidery standards. And we should also say the class that come with is special. There's a special class for each one of the pockets.
Mm.
They're not like you just don't go out and buy a class.
No.
There's a special one even of that for the
Mm,
pocket.
mm. And they're made of silver or silver plated.
Yes.
Mm.
Silver or silver. And then there's a hook. It hooks over your belt, waist.
Mm.
Does that
And,
make sense?
and then if you don't, some of the bunads don't have that split. So then what they do is that they make this little loop where they hook it into. And
Yes.
loop is made in the waistline, obviously. And then, yeah, you hook it on.
Yeah. And then attached. So that's my Marie. And from the, I'm going to say it wrong again, Osterdal
Østerdalen.
Osterdalen
Mm.
region. So my grandma's father's side. Okay.
So, yeah. But
And then
you made one for your man as well, haven't you?
I do. I have a Mike one, and I just brought his vest too. I just was into vests today. But you have better pictures of the vest. We
Yeah,
can show the whole thing. Show the vest first. That's the
yeah,
vest. I
yeah.
wish I could tell you guys that's Mike. Mike is also good looking, but this guy's amazing.
No, you can't say that.
Mike has the beautiful gray hair too, and he's also good looking.
Yeah, and
he's
he's
more skinny, just like this guy.
and he's got a beautiful smile, and he's
He
probably
does.
as tall as this one, and you're as small as
I
you
told,
are.
and yes, Mike is this tall, and I'm this.
You can tell that the banting is the banter here is good hearted. It's good love, right?
It is good hearted. So
Yeah.
that one, the vest, that region, there's my vest that I made for Mike, or I should say Mike's vest.
Mm.
That region is very into printing on fabrics. So they take a wood block and do
Yeah.
wood block printing. So that carried forward into the vest. And again, there's 3 colors that you can choose from. There's a red, there's a yellow, and a blue. And Mike liked the red, so he got red.
That's nice.
All of those buttons are, the buttons for that bunad are very specific because of the mining in the area that's from. So those buttons are specific. Everything is hand sewn. You can see the buttonholes. The buttonholes are hand sewn. There's pockets in it. That's a really fun. It was fun to make, but it took a ton of time. The collar is lined with linen. The back is wool, just plain black wool, and the front is the block printed.
That's cool.
Yeah. So it was an interesting piece to make for me. And then you have a picture of the full bunad, not with Mike, but in somebody else, a younger gentleman.
This one.
There.
Yeah.
That one. So obviously I couldn't hold that up and it would just look like black. But there are specific shoes. Mike has the shoes. The pants are half hand sewn and half on a machine.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. And then bunad socks are knit and they are curved like to the calf. They are. It's not just a regular, ooh, I'm going to knit a pair of socks. And you can see there's texture in so there's patterning and texture in the bunad
You're
socks.
teaching bunad socks knitting, aren't you?
I am. For the Vesterheim in September, I will be teaching how to knit men's bunad socks. And in the class, you can pick which, again, socks have, each region has their own bunad socks. So you can pick a region, or there is a general one as well. But I am teaching that for the Vesterheim in September.
Are they generally knit on very small needle?
Very small needles. Teeny tiny little needles.
Are we talking like 2? 1 and a
No,
half?
one.
Was it, what would that be in the US size? 00?
Yeah, the US size 1. So what is that for you?
I have no idea.
Bitty.
Yeah.
Crazy. We could look that up later. But yeah, US size 1. And you see those yarn things hanging down on his leg? They do a weaving technique, and those things like tie around to hold your socks up. So it's a weaving, and even that is specific. The colors and the weaving are specific to that bunad.
Yeah. That's what my mom knows a lot about that. She's a weaver. She used to be a weaver. She did a lot of it. It's 2.25 millimeter.
2.25. Okay.
And then you have the buttons up here as well.
Same.
Are they just for show or no? Of course not, because this is tight. So in
Yep.
order to put it on, you need to unbutton some of those.
And even the buttonholes are hand sewn. So it's a crazy amount of work that goes into that. And the men's has a big scarf on the top.
Yeah.
And then the hat for that one is a funny looking hat. It's and that's not on here, but it looks like a baseball hat almost. It looks like a
Okay, let's see. Østerdals bunad. Østerdals bunad. Herre. Lue. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's that funny looking hat.
Yeah. Yeah. This is cool. This is cool. If you remember, for those of you who were around in 1994 when Lillehammer had their Olympics, Lillehammer is just, if you go over the mountain and down on the other side, you get to Østerdalen. So Lillehammer is at the bottom of Gudbrandsdalen, which is a valley. Dal means valley. And then you have Gudbrandsdalen, and then you have the Østerdalen, and they are going in parallel. Østerdalen is a bit north of it. Is Øst means east, so it's east, but yeah, it goes in parallel. And the hat, there were caps, official Olympic caps in 1994. And I'm fairly sure this must have been the inspiration.
Oh, really?
Yeah, same fabric, that woven woolen thingy. Yeah. I'm fairly sure this must have been the cap, the brim of it was rounded, but I'm fairly sure this has been a strong inspiration for that.
Yeah.
Because you would think that they would only use a cap, but no, they've been inspired by the old stuff from
The old tradition. You guys really, I like how Norway does that old tradition. Go back to that hat and go to the picture next to him on the down.
This one. Yeah.
Yep. So that is and that hat can also be worn for the Trondelag bunad. And that's a knit hat with a looped method.
That's what we're gonna do for that.
Yes. And it can be worn for bunads. Yes, that is. We do have a class coming up where Anne and I are going to combine to do that.
Yeah. We have a retreat every year, and this is a little peek into that, obviously. A weekend retreat, which is absolutely awesome. And we're going to do a class on this technique here.
Yes.
For
that. That looping technique. And that's a red list. And for those, we've talked about red list before, but that's techniques that are going endangered because people don't learn how to do them anymore. And that hat is one of those red listed techniques. Oh, look at her crown. That's a wedding crown.
Yeah, and it's the wedding outfit for him and her in that bunad area. Yeah. How beautiful is that?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
White pants on. I haven't seen that with the white pants. That's interesting.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did say brudepar from Østerdalen. That means brudepar from Østerdalen. Yes. So that means that's what they would dress up if they were to get married in a bunad. That is the high-end thing.
Okay.
I love that. Look at those. Oh,
was that's all embroidered in there? Or do you think it?
I think that's in the fabric. I think that's in the fabric. Yeah, I'm fairly sure. Yeah. But anyway.
Yes, and Mike's got the special suspenders that goes underneath. You have to have special suspenders.
Yeah. And he's got, yeah,
This-
exactly. Yeah.
Piece on the neck.
Yeah. And does he have a scarf? Does he have a scarf?
Yeah, he's got the scarf.
Scarves are getting quite popular in Norway for all bunads. Even women wear scarf. And sometimes you use the scarf in your neck, and sometimes you just use it as a fashion statement in your hair. Not supposed to, but they are actually quite popular these days. I have a scarf as well. I don't know where I have it put it, but I have one somewhere.
Yeah, his scarf is a silk scarf.
Yeah, and they should be silk. They should be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
And did I mention there's 450 bunads that are accredited? We did talk about that.
Yeah, you did.
450 that are accredited. But if you had your own family that pieces of fabric were from, or pictures or paintings from way back, you could do your own and it would still be totally legit.
It would, and that's the thing, because it's the tradition and what we use as foundation to create them. That is what makes it a bunad, at least to me, in modern age times, kind of thing. As long as you base it on something that is, you bring something from the past into today, something that was actually used in the past. See what I mean?
Yes.
Just my own little interpretation of all this. Cool.
So not a lot of knitting, but
No.
a good tradition today.
Yeah, lots of good traditions. If you enjoy this, we are doing this every second week or so. We are doing a video podcast. And if you want to make sure that you don't miss this, you want to click on follow, whether you are watching this on YouTube or listening on the traditional podcast episode. And if you want to know more about Anne's Norwegian Knitting and what we do, you should go to annsnorwegianknitting.com.
Yes. Enjoy it.
Yeah, and find a lot of fun out there. And send us a message if you are wondering about anything. And we would love to hear from you in the comments about what you think about this episode, because we always love to hear from you guys. And apart from that, until next time, knit some beautiful stitches, right?
Yes. Bye.
Thanks for spending this time with us here on Anne's Norwegian Knitting, conversations where knitting meets culture, heart, and history. If you enjoyed this episode, we'd love for you to share it with a fellow knitter or leave a note to let us know what you think. If you want to know more about Anne's Norwegian Knitting, go to annsnorwegianknitting.com and check it out. Until next time, may your stitches be steady, your yarn untangled, and your heart full. See you in the next episode.